Thank you for joining today and welcome to the third episode of my single cut guitar build. There's a couple of important things to get done for this episode. I need to get the control cavity done and also the neck carved. I did think initially about maybe glossing over fairly quickly doing the control cavity, but then I was thinking that if you're doing this for the first time, it's one of those parts of the guitar build that you can really burn through some time, and it can be quite stressful and easy to get wrong if you're doing a unique design and you don't have templates to work from. So I thought it might be worth just doing a detailed explanation for how I'm going to go about doing this, and then it might be helpful for some people out there. So I'll talk as I work and we'll just dive in and start doing it. The first thing that I've done is to decide on the front of the guitar exactly where I want my tone, volume and three-way switch to be, and then I've drilled through from the front using a Forstner bit that's exactly the same size as the shaft for the pots and the switch that I'm going to use. Then I transferred these holes onto a bit of plywood and came up with a design for a cavity shape that will give me plenty of room around the electronics and also enough room for the wiring. So that's the shape that the cavity is going to be, and I've left these pieces in here so that when I come to put a cover on, I have some wood left to screw into. And the last part is that I'm going to need a recess in the body in order to put a plate on and to have it flush with the top of the body. So I have this template which takes another couple of millimeters off around the edge, and I can use as a routing template to go down about 3 millimeters into the body. So this can be drawn on now because I'm going to take the majority of this out with a Forstner bit, tidy it up with the router. But before I do that, I'm just going to explain how I calculate the depths that I'm going to use. So firstly, my top tip is to buy long shaft potentiometers if you can, particularly if it's the first time that you're doing it, because they have about an extra centimetre on the shaft of the pot, which means that you're not going to route as deep as you would for regular shaft pots. It also means that you're not getting to within about 5 or 6 millimetres of the top of the body and risking going through. So it just makes the whole thing a bit less stressful. But for the switch I will need to go a bit deeper because there's only about 5 millimeters of shaft length, which means that this cavity is going to have to be a bit deeper than these two. So the accuracy of your depth cutting is important because you want the knobs and switches on the top of the guitar to sit nice and flush and not have huge amounts of room. So this is how I'm going to measure them. So the pots have got 2 washers and a nut. So I'm going to screw the nut on just so that it's fully onto the thread and then give it an extra 1.5 turns. Then I'll pull the washer up and measure the distance in between the top and bottom washer, which is 14 millimeters. So I just need to subtract 14 millimeters from the thickness of my body, and that will give me the depth for the tone and volume. And for the switch I'll do exactly the same thing. That's 5 millimeters. The body is 41.5 millimeters thick, which means I'm going to need 27.5 millimeters depth for the potentiometers and 36.5 for the switch. To make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to do all bar about 5 millimeters of that with a Forstner bit. Let's do that. So that saved me a load of time on the routing. You can see I've got 2 different depths. Now I can go ahead, put my template on here and finish the rest with the router. Those should be the correct depth. Look good? I think you'll be able to see the 2 different depths there. So let's do a quick test fit, make sure we're happy. So that's exactly where I wanted them, which is really handy, so I don't have any adjustments to make. So all I've got left to do for the cavity is just to pop the cover plate template over and to route about 3 mils down and come up with a plan for what I want to use for the cover. Let's do that. So that's the control cavity done. I'm happy with that. Hopefully that will have been of some use to some people and it might not seem so daunting. So I still need to do the cavity cover, but that's for the next episode, and I need to make the template based on those ones I've got. But I'd say it's time to think about carving the neck. This is the olive neck that I did for the first video in this series, and I love it. And I've been waiting to get to this point before I carve the neck. And the reason for that is that I wanted to be able to mark exactly where the neck heel meets the body and do it all in one go. Now I know that this is a Gibson style guitar, but I'm not going to go for a Gibson style neck. I'm going to go for a Fender style neck because that's what I love and I find comfortable. So I'm going to do 21.5mm thick at the first and 22.5mm at the 12th fret, which kind of doesn't make much sense when you hear that in isolation, but what it does do is to land it firmly in American Strat territory. And I'm also going to go for a modern C-shaped neck profile. I appreciate that people like different things, so I thought what might be useful is if I pop up on screen now typical neck thicknesses or tapers for popular guitars that people like to replicate, popular necks people like to replicate. So the first bit to do is the taper, so let's mark that up and get that done, and then we can think about doing the facets. So I mark all of my carving lines in tape because it gives a really clean line, much cleaner, much finer than pencil, a lot easier to see, and you don't lose it as soon as you touch it with a file or a rasp. Okay, I've marked on 5 or 6 positions for where different frets are and also where the nut is. I'm going to use these as reference lines to take my measurements from in order to mark up and carve the facets. That's the neck profile done. That went really well. I'm really happy with it. I've tested it. It's comfortable. It just feels like a Strat. I need to just get the headstock and the heel blended. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with a few files and some sandpaper. That's the finished carve, neck heel transition and headstock transition. And I'm really happy with it. I'm super happy with it, in fact, because it's the first of this type of heel arrangement that I've done. So that's a bit of a personal victory, which is always nice. So that's really the end of the build phase for this guitar. I mean, I've got to do some wiring. I need to drill the holes for the wiring cavities and the jack, but the main bit to do now is just to get the finish on, which I'm going to start on straight away. But that video is going to be probably about 3 weeks away because I need about 6 days to apply the finish and then a week to let it cure and another week to get this to a point where it's all finished and assembled and set up and I can edit the videos. So I think what I'll do in the meantime, in fact what I'm planning to do from now on, is just to have 2 builds that are always on the go at the same time. So I think I'll pop up the start of a new build series before I get to the end of this one. So as always, thanks very much for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I will have a new episode of something soon.